By the way, Mom, I talked to Mom the other day, and she mentioned our Wrist Cutters review.
What do we say?
She's watched it before I did.
She's like actively watching our content when it goes up.
What it must be to be a housewife.
Retired.
I know.
Retired housewife.
Retired out.
I just couldn't believe that she quoted it back to me.
I can't believe she keeps opening that YouTube app. Like,
yeah.
That's the thing that really gets me.
I know. I'm surprised as well.
Well, in 7 months when she catches this review, we'll say a hearty hello.
No, this is the next one.
Oh, this is the next one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That comes out of order. All right, clap stick on 3. 1, 2, 3. Damn it.
I'm on it.
I clapped really hard too. Hurt my hands. Ow. Welcome to a less bombastic episode of the Effin' Movie Podcast, except this is an Effin' Movie Squirt. Can I get a little squirt effect added in?
A squirt.
Can I get
a squirt cast?
Yeah.
Oh,
or can I just get like a squirt gun that lets me spray price?
yeah,
there you go.
A little gif.
Yeah.
None of this will happen. Please continue.
So, if you're watching this and you're wondering why is our facial hair all grown or not grown, and why we look significantly older, and why we're in various states of confusion compared to the normal linear storytelling of this, that's because technical difficulties have once again plagued the podcast on a rather unfortunate and probably very lengthy episode of Parasite.
Yeah, that was gonna be a good one.
That was a goodie.
R.I.P.
Rip that episode, whatever happened to it. So it got ate by the void, and now we're going to do a quick squirt because we just don't have it in us to talk about how much we enjoyed this movie at great length again. So what we're going to do is we're going to give our scores. We're going to say why it's really good and probably why we didn't give it a perfect 10. And that's going to be the short and sweet version. Price, start us off from the top.
Whoa, we're doing scores?
We're starting with Bryce.
We're not going to review or anything?
This is a squirt! This isn't a full review.
Oh my god.
Summarize it as best you can.
Alright, so it'll be a bit lengthier because I love this movie. I was the one who picked it. This is my movie. I have great taste. I know what I'm talking about.
You had nothing to do with this movie.
Yeah.
We all watched it beforehand.
That's how this works.
This is
we're all trying to pick the best movies.
I know.
Yes.
I know. Two of the people
I know
here.
Nathan believes in that
Oh,
philosophy.
yeah.
Two of the people here say that this movie is worse than The Punisher. Controversially, I disagree. I think this movie
It's a hot take in this crew.
is light years better. This movie, it really does so much. The way it shows the classism that is this whole movie's based on by just showing you rather than telling you. Like with those small moments of like when the dad is driving the, I think it's the wife around, and like he smells really bad because the night before they had that big rainstorm. And like before that, her husband was saying like pores just have a smell that's different.
Yeah.
And then just in the car, she's like, "Oh, that's bad." And then she puts the window down, and you just see, like you see it on screen rather than them telling you like, "Hey, you smell bad because you're poor." Like, it's so good. Quit.
There's also times where like the mom's like wrestling or what was it, like track and field?
Yeah, she was a track and field star.
Yeah.
With
like
her
it shows.
Yeah, and how like it didn't really matter because she's in this awful life anyway. And there's just so much in this movie that's great. And just because it's symbolic doesn't make it good. But when the symbolism is used well, I think it does help the movie a lot. There's all the performances are amazing. There's a reason this won Best Picture that year. There's a lot of meat to chew on with this movie. I could watch it so many times.
All the accolades it received.
It was not even close.
Oh, 100%. Because all the genres that it goes through, from just a normal like drama to a comedy to a thriller to a horror into like kind of action, but I wouldn't put the action label on it too much because of the party.
I would say it's one-sided action, so it's more horror thriller than it's.
It's more just like an action scene, kind of, but. It all does so well. Like, I will always remember that shot of the kid eating the cake, and then he looks over, and then the guy in the basement's just looking at him with those huge eyes. Like, that's such an iconic shot. And then with The Rock, how they use that to, like, when the guy finally gets out of the basement and
during the birthday party
and hits the guy over the head with it, and like his body, the way it twitches.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so off-putting.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you understand why he's having this, like, trip where he's like, I went back and saved my dad, and I bought the house. And you realize, like, oh, like, he's, like, in a vegetative state, and that's why he's having these visions that never happen.
Yeah.
So it ends on a very dark note, which I really like and love, which is the reason that I give this, the big smacker, the 10. Boom. It's amazing. It's up there with me with the movies like Billy Madison, Step Brothers, Tim and Eric.
You know,
like
I hate
it's
those.
up there.
Really high
I hate-
quality.
It's up there in
didn't
those
mention the
tins.
Punisher.
He didn't mention Punisher, which I would definitely say is better than all those other tins too. So
Weird.
again, at least our system makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
His is the wacky one.
Oh, yeah.
But I do like the Dylan's just going. Well, he wants us to go with scores. I think it makes the most sense. There is a lot of meat to chew on with this movie, but like Dylan said, like it's a lot to really chew on, and it's been a while since we've seen it, so it's harder to talk about. Even though it is a 10 for me, definitely, I adore this movie.
I think that this movie does a really good job. You mentioned it earlier. It's a drama. It's kind of a comedy when it wants to be. It's more of a thriller, I think, than anything else. It's just a slow burn thriller, and it does one of my favorite things where like it just keeps cascading down this hill, and then it turns into just a little bit of horror. It's not so off-putting. You mentioned that shot in the dark of the guy's eyes. That I remember that part vividly. I mean, it is unreal. And you just get chills for no reason. And then they take you off of that for a while until the rock scene at the very end. But that is like my favorite. You just add a little bit of blood occasionally, and it's the greatest. But this movie is a little bit like much to chew on. I think it's great. Best Picture winner, maybe. I was more so for Jojo Rabbit that year.
Yeah, we know.
But for all those reasons, I give this movie more of an 8.5. I think that it's great in its
That's really
storytelling.
good still.
No, it's great for its storytelling. I'm just, to not give it a 10 or even a 9, a couple of the drawbacks for me were just the way that they finagled their way into this household. The people were so naive, which isn't the worst thing. It's obviously just the characters and who they are.
Well, they said that the wife was slow.
Slow, but like so like paranoid all the time, or it's just I don't know. But basically, like the kid caught on, right? Like the little son had caught on.
Like they smell
That
funny.
they smell the same.
Yeah,
They smell the same. That
Yeah.
was
He
it.
smells like the driver or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, still a fantastic movie. And even at the very end when like is it like the dad that gets sort of caught or something, or caught on camera? I can't remember the end of this
Caught
movie.
on camera.
Besides
The party scene.
Yeah, the
where
party
the
scene happens,
daughter
but
gets
afterwards.
stabbed and killed. And
Afterwards.
After that.
They all like move into that house, or was that when he was like in that hospital bed? And
Yeah,
he was-
that's when
he's in the
hospital
okay.
bed.
Yeah,
That's right.
Oh yeah, the dad goes down to the basement by the time it's all said. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, nothing taken away from this movie. It was wonderful, but an 8.5 for me.
I'm gonna go a little bit higher than that. It's not a perfect movie, but it is very close to it. I give it a 9.5, and that is because it's exceptional in everything it does. It's a fantastic thriller. It's a movie that, again, agreeing with all the pre-listed strengths on it, I would say it's a movie that you could describe mundanely, but when you're watching it, it feels absolutely insane. If you're sitting here and saying that, like, oh yeah, so they're chilling at this house, right, and then suddenly the maid comes over, and that doesn't sound very interesting, but when that happens, and you're just like, oh shit, and then they start rubbing in like allergic peels or whatever it is, peaches,
Yeah.
the peach fuzz and stuff all over her face, and then she goes into a basement, and then her husband's down there, and you're like,
Turns out
huh?
her fucking husband.
Yeah, and it just kind of gets like, again, if you described it in like a plot or you read it, you'd be like, this does not sound that intense, but when it's happening on screen in the context of the movie, holy shit, it just feels like you're on such like a insane roller coaster ride with it.
Well, it makes a lot of things that are almost mundane seem over the top creepy.
Yes.
Because talking about her going down to that basement, whenever she's like pushing the wine cabinet,
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
like fully
Up on it, yeah. Like,
And you don't know anything at that
No,
point. Like, why
you
is
have
she
no idea.
on the wall like
Yeah.
Spider-Man
Right.
right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much kind of question in that way, but I think, like, again, the biggest strength is going back to its symbolism of saying, like, it's making you think of mundane things and with a much heavier weight to it, and I think that's what so much of the movie's trying to do. It's making you, like, really take a look at classism as something that we generally look at as every single day, as most people's parts of their lives, and never think twice about it, because that is by design. But to have this movie sit there and have you do that, and then do it in a different cultural standpoint, and for that to connect so well with people in the West still, and to be recognized at the Oscars and win, not just because it's a token, oh, here's a movie that's not La La Land or something like that, just to win it, but for it to break the molds and sit there and go through it. I come back to saying, in 2019, a year full of amazing movies, all actually very valid and deserved winning their spot, Jojo Rabbit very much up there in that reason. I still say that, although Jojo Rabbit is my favorite of these two, that Parasite deserves to win because I feel like it did much more. not just for the small scope, the big scope, and everything else, but for just the sense of saying, like, okay, we're breaking past so many barriers to even be recognized by this crowd. And for everybody else to see how good this is, in spite of all the things that are in the way that could make people be turned off by it, subs, culture things, this like that, I think that says so much about how strong that movie is.
I think also comparing the two movies, the Jojo Rabbit and Parasite, I think they're both pretty tough to just be able to get somebody to watch.
Oh, like an everyday person, sure. Yeah.
Because like one is literally like it involves Hitler, Nazi Germany, but it's a comedy and it's satire, but that doesn't like overshadow the fact that you're trying to get somebody to watch that.
If you pitch the plot, it's a harder thing to do.
Exactly.
Right.
And same thing with Parasite, like you just said, the subs, you know, just the culture barrier.
If I said I got a Korean movie to pitch to most casual people, they're gonna be like, I will never watch this movie. Yeah, I will never watch unless you talk to a random K-pop person or something. Right. Like it's a harder sell, I think, for Parasite.
Dylan, if JoJo and Parasite wind up meeting each other in the bracket, which one are you going with?
The Punisher. Nathan, go ahead.
Moving on.
He's dodging the question.
I wouldn't dodge it. I would say that my personal favorite of these two is Jojo Rabbit, so I picked Jojo. But if it was Parasite...
No, you will pick JoJo.
Yeah, I will pick Jojo.
Okay.
And I probably, maybe even do. Depending on when this comes out. But they didn't play it, did they?
No.
No, they didn't pair up.
No. Wait, we don't know if they did.
Hey,
Come on,
bracket
guys.
spoilers. Nothing. We'll cut that.
Yeah.
I trust Nathan to know exactly where in this video to cut.
So, yeah, I mean, this movie deserves all the recognition it got.
Mm-hmm.
It is, like you said, it does a good job of showing. I don't know. I really like times whenever a movie can show you effectively like something very culturally different, but it still comes across really well and you get it.
Right. Relatable even if we're not from that cultural background.
Yeah, because it's like it feels very much like this is about Korean culture. You could say there's some parallels, but it's very much trying to like point out inequalities and problems specifically in like South Korean culture, but it's still managed to like jump past all the boundaries in which it was operating and gain like global recognition. So for me, I ended up giving it an 8.5, which I think is pretty fair. I would almost bump it up a little bit higher, but I don't think there's like a rewatch value for it to me.
It does kind of have that quality of like the wow factor of
Yeah,
just
like
upon
that's
first
the
watch.
big thing is like this movie, you'll watch it one time through, it'll really surprise you. Maybe a second time if you just want to like kind of see if there's some extra bits to pick up, which there are. Like there's some stuff with like the lights turning on and things that you realize how that was actually happening towards the end of it. That's neat, but it's all subtle nods and not like it's not like a story being told that's like trying to just sneakily insert things that you'll then later piece together on subsequent watch throughs like some other films tend to do. This is just really just kind of following a pretty straight line, I feel like. And yeah, I don't really feel like I have much more to say other than that.
Yeah.
But what do critics think? No, I'm kidding. We're not gonna
Mason
do it on
doesn't
the
care
show
anymore.
Mason is trying to actively cut that out because he doesn't want to critic. But we'll see how
I
that.
just did it that one time.
You did it one time, but you did it without any prompts or saying you were going to. So
I made you look like a fool.
Yeah, played me like a fiddle, which is hilarious because by the time this comes out, that review will be way later. So we won't. You're going to be like, didn't they mention this like 4 minutes ago?
It's foreshadowing.
Anyway, that's going to be our show for this episode. Sorry that isn't a full girthy, linky, all segments, all acts.
Let's spin the wheel.
Yes, I have to figure out what the next movie is.
The wheel's not even going to fit the... We don't even have those movies anymore.
The next movie,
I'll go get it.
Never Back Down, which is...
Oh my god.
Is the next movie we're going to be reviewing on the show. Some say it's even better than Parasite.
some would say.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's better than busting.
Anyway, if you like the content that we do, make sure to give us a big old thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below if you want us to have more bigger thoughts on. If you wish you saw a whole review, you can @ Nathan for that one. And then And then
What are you gonna do?
make sure to hit the bell. That's
Oh.
Price Bell, not Kelly Bell Sr., who loves this show. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
And that's gonna be our show. Make sure to tune in next week for Never Back Down.
Yes.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
I hope I like Never Back Down.
Me too.
Me 3.
Does it have good music?
It has the best music.
buddy.
Not bad.